Hello, this is the Tradesight U.S. Stocks and Futures Market Preview for Thursday, the 21st of May, 2015, as we head into Memorial Day weekend. One last chance on Thursday for the markets to do something interesting. Had a reasonable morning in the early part of the trading day, but then things really slowed down. We'll look at the intraday action, but here's the daily chart once again of the ES front month futures contract, basically the S&P. And we talked about that poor setup for a breakout. You get a breakout with no volume, three of the lightest volume days of the year. That's not usually a plus. And once again, we ended up trying to make new highs after lunch in the session, after the Fed minutes from the last meeting came out, and then sold back off to the lows. But the whole morning was narrow. You'll see that when we look at the intraday action. And so once again, it looks like this breakout is going nowhere. And again, we think that volume and activity will be after market fails this breakout, and hopefully to the downside. S&P lost almost 2 points. That's fairly flat. The NDX was up 1.5 points, fairly flat, obviously. Here's a look at the NDX. We're now 8 bars up towards a new startup phase on the Secret Comer tool on the NDX here, as you can see. Here's the SOX index, also up 1 point. Didn't do much. Here's the biotechs. They did gain 30, look much stronger than the other. Here's a look at Google. Was up 3 points, pushing out to the highs, near the highs of the month finally. Apple literally down a penny for the day. Apple has not been the exciting trader that it once was for us. The VIX also uneventful, 1288, closed basically flat. It's been dead flat now for 5 days. Crude oil lost 23 cents down to 57.99, lowest close in a while. And the YG, this is the gold contract, was up just slightly. Here's 10-day trend once again, 1.08, and the moving average, the 10-day moving average, the blue line about 1.06. NASDAQ volume closed the session 1.6 billion shares in the NASDAQ. So even though that's the best in 7 days, that certainly is not interesting. Actually, the best in 8 days. Certainly is not interesting. Will we get volume tomorrow? On Thursday, heading into Friday? Unknown at this point. There is some economic data, so there's a chance that there's, it's the most data we've seen all week. Let's talk about it real quick right now. We've got the weekly initial and continuing jobless claims data an hour before the bell, and then 30 minutes into the market. Existing home sales, Philly Fed leading indicators. Altogether, those could move things. And then the natty gas number. We'll also mention again Friday, an hour before the bell, is the CPI. It's a big inflationary number. Mention that now because we don't do market previews for Fridays typically. Certainly won't do it for this week, heading into a long weekend. Friday is going to be dead. If we get any excitement, it'll be in the first 30 to 60 minutes as usual, and as a reaction to that CPI number. But other than that, everybody will be leaving. Markets are closed Monday, so we will have our market previews up Friday for next Tuesday, but there's no trading on Monday for stocks or futures. And then we go into the final week of the month of May. Next week, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Friday the 29th is the end of month. I always like when end of month lines up on a Friday because Fridays are boring anyways. End of month is a boring day, a little bit more so than others. So put them together and get it out of the way. Let's look at the intraday action in the markets from Wednesday. And you can see Tuesday still flat. Wednesday gapped up a very small amount and then dropped. We actually had a real nice futures trade out of the bell, out of the gate there. On both the ES and the NQs. And then that was it. Within 20 minutes, we had established the entire range for the morning, about a 6.5 point range. Banged around back and forth all the way through lunch, sticking that range. And then right at 1400, which is 2 p.m. Eastern time, the minutes from the last Fed meeting came out. That caused an uptick in the market. We shot up for about 30, 40 minutes and got a 9-bar startup phase there, and then rolled over, came back down and closed just under the VWAP area and basically flat for the session. If you look at the NQs, you'll see the same pattern obviously here, but we made a little more money on the futures on the NQs because it did drop about 20 points early, and we were in that pretty much right out of the gate on that move down. So that was a nice futures trade for us. And we did have some stock trades. AAL, for example, gave us a nice shorting opportunity early in the morning. Here's a look at that. So it's not that there wasn't anything to do, but it certainly dried up very quickly, as we've been seeing a lot of lately. All right, so that's that. We will leave you with the long weekend ahead. Hope everybody has a great and safe Memorial Day weekend. Like I said, we'll resume Tuesday morning Charts, as usual, brought to you by eSignal, and hope you have a great trading week.